How I sold 55 final expense plans in October. I was much younger back in 2000. The final expense insurance company I worked for had a contest, and it was based on who wrote the most final expense life applications in. It wasn't based on premium. I knew I could win the contest based on applications. I was already selling an average of 40 applications a month. I knew with my niche widow lead system that I could write more applications than anyone. I called it my 500-day three-step postcard system. I had a major discovery to build my insurance career. I bought the special software from $1 million insurance agent who was retiring, had the software developed that only found widows who were over 65 to 80 years old. I could pull any zip code in the county, any income, age of widows. I loved calling on widows via appointment or using my postcard that required me to hand deliver my free gift. Please note, if you are the type of agent who won't leave your office without a set appointment, even if you're dead broke, your wife has to work a job she hates and your kids are shinny and you are afraid to call on a 75-year-old, 100-pound widow to give them a free gift you promised in the postcard, then this system may not be for you, unless you find a good appointment setter to book all your appointments. I could get widows in any zip code in the United States, so I would pull the data from small neighborhoods and they would be in walk sequence. For example, I would sometimes have 2 or 3 widows on a street. So I could pull data on widows, for example, 1st, 2nd, 3rd Street in one of the towns I worked in California. This agent, who was the top producer in the company and had developed this system, and he sold me the complete postcard system and software. According to LIMRA, 65% of all final expense plans are sold to widows. I personally loved working widows. I could catch most of them home during the daytime. Husband's objections were no longer an issue. My teenage daughter would hand-addressed 100 to 125 pink postcards a week, and she would put a postcard stamp on them and mail them out on Thursday every week. Then the widow would receive the card on Saturday or Monday. Then I had a widow I met at McDonald's who I found needed extra money and was tired of being the manager over a group of pimples-faced teenagers. I taught her the phone script, and she would book 2 to 3 appointments a day in the area and zip codes I was working. She had a gift to talk with widows. Then if I was in between appointments, I would work the widows in the area who received a postcard in the past from me. The postcard offered a free gift, so I had to hand deliver the gift. Was a memorial guide booklet that was in an 8x12 envelope. Important note here, the reason the guide was in an envelope, I had to explain several things on the guide. Thus, it was part of my selling scripts. I just wouldn't give it out without explaining some key points. I would tell 3 or 4 stories about other widows, and I had 7 different closes I could use. I would show her my memorial guide on myself and a sample policy. I would average 17 to 20 interviews a week and close 8 to 10 sales per week. This system worked for me, and I had 6 or 7 agents I trained to follow the same system. I had 2 people mailing out the postcards weekly for the agents. Did it work? Yes, I built up 1.2 million in renewals and semi-retired early. So back to the time I wrote 55 applications in October to win the trip to Hawaii. So at the end of September, my wife and I hand-addressed 300 postcards to mail out to a list of widows who lived in one zip code. I offered a free gift, which was my memorial guide. The first week of October, I hit the road running. Gave 27 interviews and sold 20 small policies just in the first week. On almost all my memorial guides, I would get 3 to 4 people to notify in the event of the widow's death. I would try to get 2 widows in the neighborhood to notify. I would tell her that I will notify them face to face and go over her wishes. So sometimes I would walk out of the widow's house and go across the street and talk to the neighbor who was her friend. So I finished with 55 applications and won a trip to Hawaii for my wife and me. Got my picture on the front cover of the monthly newsletter. Again, I had the special software package that would capture every widow in any zip code, county, or state. I was able to build up over $1 million in renewals. To learn more, go to Do Dia Dalfe Final Expense Millionaire Kit. Come eat 'em.